I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube. You cannot hear that gloriousness, but you can go on Apple Podcasts and listen to that if you would like. Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud. We everywhere. All right, so boom, the podcast is just everywhere. Episode number 53. Jay Yannick is back in the building. The man to the box with the... Hold up. They don't know I'm wearing OG bait.
Talk about it. Talk about it. White men, you bastards.
The man, Black Tea. Is that Grogu?
That's Grogu, baby.
Oh!
Trav, you nerds.
And last but not least,
I like how he had the nerd introduction too with the T.
And last but not least, the other end of the Skittle Rainbow Hat Club.
Facts. Sneak Bozos was good.
What's up, guys? It's Sunday. We're back again. Consistency is key.
Yes, sir.
One more week, another episode, another release, another podcast, and another guest.
Why not?
You know, on Franelation's episode, he was talking to us about a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, there's a lot of YouTube stars out there right now. Guys that are doing their own thing, and he's loving it, and he's like, oh, man, that's bringing that energy, that same energy that he was creating back in the day. So I said, Fran, which one would be the best one to get? You know what he told me? You know what he told me?
I think I know.
I don't know who.
Tyler J. Blake, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler J. Blake, ladies and gentlemen. Bring him on in.
We're going to say Kais Omar because that guy's got some serious pull. I'm washed, but I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Welcome to the podcast. Tyler J. Blake is in the building. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Good morning, guys. This is awesome. So happy to be here. And thanks, Fran, for giving me the shout. So that was great.
So you're the man with a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm seeing a lot of different things, a lot of different angles. We're going to get into it, but first we want to start with the beginning. We want to start with the sneaker angle. We want to see where did that come from, and when did you start that YouTube mission? When did you start that? Let's go there.
I read somewhere 14.
Yeah, around 14 years old. That was around the time I got my first paycheck. Now, embarrassingly, my first shoes that I bought with my first paycheck were Osiris. They were like ugly. They were like neon blue and black.
You didn't know better.
I didn't know better, and also, I was from a town where like sneaker culture wasn't really even a thing. We had like a lot of like ska bands, punk bands, so like Osiris with the big tongues, like that.
Right.
That was cool because before that, my family would go to Costco and we get the Kirkland signatures, which was like a white shoe. I get one pair at the start of the year, and then one pair around spring vacation. I had those two pairs to last the whole time. So yeah, I wasn't abused as a child though. It's all right.
He's like,
but yeah, I think it was cool kind of making my own money. I worked at a summer camp, and they had like a way where they could pay you under minimum wage because they gave you like food or whatever. So I was making like maybe $200 a week, which wasn't bad for being 14, 15. But yeah, that was the first pair of shoes that I bought. But I think in terms of like really getting into like what people might consider like sneaker culture, like shoes that actually have a story. Probably when I was 16 or 17, my brother and I, we played hockey. We went to school in high school, we got out of public school and got to go to a school where our education was paid for hockey, and you had to wear a dress code. But the only thing that you could like kind of defer from the dress code was your shoes. And there was this kid that always had a different pair of shoes on every single day. And finally I went to his house, and the kid had this like huge walk-in like MTV crib style closet, and then every single cubby was filled with a different shoe. And that's when I started kind of understanding. And he had like the Bapes, he was really influenced by Pharrell and NERD at the time. So he just would pick up a shoe and then tell me the story about it, or tell me, I waited in line for the South Beach Eights, for 8 hours or whatever it was, and that really got me excited because I always had collected stuff as a kid. I did Pokemon. I did root beer bottles. I collected like random stuff that had some sort of, sentimental value, and like I could remember where I was when I got it. And the sneaker stuff was just like I was hooked. And that dude was this guy named One Veracity, David. He does financial banking now, but he was one of the original YouTube guys with Franelations, with like a Sir sneaker. But he kept it super secret, and no one in school really knew he did it. But I watched his videos and reviews, and he actually let me guest review on his channel. I did like a pair of Wolf Gray 5s, and people on YouTube were actually like positive to it. So I was like, I should just do my own thing. The problem was I had no money still. So I was really having a hard time figuring out like getting content and that sort of thing. But that's how it started when I was about 16, 17 years old.
Do you still keep in touch?
Yeah. Still keep in touch.
Does he still collect also?
Yeah. He's still heavy in it. And he's a guy where he was into sneakers kind of before I'd say like the real resale kind of got him, where you got people that said they like sneakers, but they really like the money part of it. Mm-hmm. So, especially now with the resurgence of Nike SBs, we just were talking the other day because his collection's like it was worth a lot back then, but now it's like a small fortune with how much people care about these shoes that just weren't that big of a deal back then. So
what size do you wear?
He's a size 9 or 9.5.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you see him letting them go, or do you think he's gonna just keep collecting?
He never sold anything as long as I've known him. So I think he's just gonna keep collecting, man. But he has some cool stuff, man. I wish I could go. My favorite pair is not really a crazy or rare pair, but Billionaire Boys Club and Ice Cream did a collection where they did the waffle sneaker. It's like a Vans basically, but it had the whole.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. So he had those, which I love those. I wish they'd re-release them, but that's like an obscure sneaker I've been trying to find. But
what size are you?
I'm a size 11.5 or 12 now, so
Gotcha.
it's tough. It's tough finding stuff. Old stuff is tough to find.
And back then, when you entered that MTV lifestyle crib closet, what sneaker really just caught your eye in that story he told you?
Man, that's such a good question because it's the Bin Jordan 7, and I still have it.
Wow.
I don't know where it is. It might be downstairs, but yeah, the Bin Jordan 7. And at one time I had every single Bin Jordan. I sold them off or traded stuff out to kind of keep my rotation going. But that Bin Jordan 7 I kept, and I just loved the colors, the fact that it had to do with Michael Jordan's affinity for wine and how he wanted to have this, special, wax embossed stamp. Yeah, right there, man. And the colors, it just was like, wow, like this is amazing. But yeah, that was the shoe that caught my eye 100%.
Like that was the first time you ever saw that shoe, or?
Oh yeah, first time I ever saw that shoe.
Yeah,
like,
that was really rare.
The way that I really started learning, because remember, even though I had this really good reference point for sneakers, the way I started kind of learning sneaker history was I was like deep in Soul Collector forums back when that was a thing.
Yeah, everybody.
Where you would comment on the post and you'd get like a point to leveling up. So I forget what the highest echelon was for that, but man, I was on the forums every day reading stuff, learning about the releases, and it was awesome to me because I didn't have the money to buy them, so I was like, I might as well read about them.
That's definitely not a thing anymore. Like,
nah.
Yeah,
it's just like, is this hype? Can I make money? I'll buy it.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about that later, but yeah, the sense of kind of community is a little obscured now for people just getting into it, But back then, yeah, the Soul Collector forums, man, that was a great place. So.
Yeah. And so you take that energy, and then you go on your own, and now you're trying to buy your own. Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. So I said I need to start making my own YouTube videos, and the problem, which is still a problem for people trying to get into the space, is content, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not really it's really hard to break even on a video if you're a new person doing it. So the way that I started getting into it was, I think that the way I started getting a little bit of money to keep recycling stuff, because what I do is I buy a pair used from someone off Facebook or something local. I do a review on a used sneaker or a used pickup video, and then I would trade it for something different, or I do a video about like an upcoming release that I couldn't buy, but my thoughts about it, or some advice on how to resize shipping boxes if you're reselling. But yeah, my sophomore year of college, I got into because I put myself through school and I was like really having a hard time. Like going into that year, I like owed my friend like $150. I had like a negative bank account. I tried getting this girl back, and I like emptied my bank account, which was like $500. And I won't get into it in great detail, but I thought it was one of those things where I didn't book a bus ticket home because I was so confident I would get it back, and then I was like stranded because I had to go back home to Connecticut. I was like stranded in Boston. Because he said no, basically. I was like, "Can I get a ride home?" She was like, "No."
Damn.
So
I know it was cold.
Oh yeah, no, dead ass. I literally slept outside that night, and I had like this moment where I was like, "Oh my god, this is not my life. This is not working." So I managed to convince the friend that I owed $150 at school for the playoff Jordan 12 that release. I said, "Listen, dude, I need you to loan me another $180, and I want you to come with me." Or maybe they were $170 back then, but I was like, maybe with tax. I was like, "I need you to come with me to the mall." I got 3 friends to come with me. I was like, "Help me buy 3 pairs of these." I bought 3 of them. We flipped them for $300 each. I paid each friend a little bit of money back, paid my friend off, and then I had like a pool of $500 in my bank account that I started doubling down on and reselling with that. And then that was how I started making content, because I would buy a shoe to resell, do the video review on it, resell it, and then, do it again. And then eventually I had enough money where not only was able to put myself through school, but I was also start building my own collection.
Nice.
So that was kind of how I did it.
What platforms did you use to resell?
Back then I was using a lot of eBay, and then right around this time was when like sneaker events started getting popular. Because now I'm 19 years old, and like sneaker con's a thing. So I remember going to New York for that and just kind of buy and sell and trade in that way. So a lot of like local community stuff too. So like everyone kind of knew everyone in Massachusetts. I was in school at Babson College, right outside Boston. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still use eBay?
Yeah, I still do. I mean, I haven't sold many shoes recently. I'll be honest with you. We can talk about that later too, but I've kind of stepped away from reselling. I've only picked up a couple of shoes this year too, but yeah, eBay I was using to sell swimming pools this summer.
Wait, what?
Wow.
That was the cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real cook has been patio heaters too. That's been my life these last 2 months. I sold maybe 1,500 patio heaters to the Rhode Island government. So that's been a wild ride.
You talking to the next.
Oh, let me write this down.
Yeah. But the point was I was able to get enough momentum behind my channel, and then collaborating with other people that were in the same space, kind of growing, because this is when like having 50,000 subscribers was a big deal, and we were kind of talking about whether or not sneakers was popular enough to break that 100,000 threshold. Now looking back, that's kind of silly, but that was a real thing where, how long is this interest going to really last? So
Yeah, and now looking at it, it's like this is here forever, and this is going to stay. So
every year I feel like it's not, but yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'm like, man, how is like, aren't people getting a little fatigued? Not the interest in sneakers, but the level of participation to kind of justify how much stuff is getting released. I'm always amazed at. I'm
okay. Like,
you know what I mean?
how they keep on pumping out product and people are still okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the Jordan Retro weekend pace, it used to be like you get a numbered Jordan Retro, there might be two drops a month, unless I'm really misremembering. Now there's just too much to keep track of. So
and the supply still isn't meeting the demand, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that because of how many people are interested in reselling, it's actually there is enough supply for everyone, but there's such a huge ecosystem now that it's supporting it. I was actually thinking about this the other day because there's a case of this dude that was trading stocks in London. He was like autistic, but he was super smart. Autistic doesn't matter. The point is, autistic helped him get out of the case, whatever. But he's a savant, and he's sitting at his computer and he's doing all these trades at really, really high volume. And he's actually propping up the stock market. And there was a day where like his mom called him downstairs and he had to go get dinner. So he turned off his program and it was a flash crash and it crashed the whole market. Like people lost like $3 trillion because this one dude was trading so much that it was propping up the market. And I think we're seeing the same thing with reselling, where there's so many people running bots that have to, at a certain point, like take stock to survive, that it's almost artificial. Some of the resale demand on shoes, where if you took them out of the equation, everyone really would be able to get a pair at retail. But there's just so many people that are participating in the aftermarket that it's almost like
so you could argue that bots help the resale stay high.
Oh
No,
yeah, 100%.
Help the sneaker market stay afloat, you mean?
100%. Yeah. And the brands are interested in it as well. I can talk about this now because the person's no longer at the brand. He's with Shopify, but I was invited to a meeting at one of the brand's headquarters to talk about reselling in the community and how that's helping them, how they can actually work with resellers. And you've seen that with StockX too, with their IPOs of Adidas shoes or whatever it is. I think the brands they love it, dude. They absolutely love the resale attention.
Like I won't call out any names, but I know there are certain companies who will like claim that they did their best to combat the bots, and but we really know that that's not true. They're just like, fuck it, get it out of here. Yeah.
I mean, it's a certain, if I'm Ronnie Feig, do I really care if all my products sold out to a bot? I've met Ronnie before. I met Ronnie before he was like really blowing up. Like when Kith was in its infancy, and seeing that dude's lifestyle and stuff, he doesn't give a fuck. Like, if he can cross Kith with something else and people buy it. Where Ronnie's a genius though, and I'll explain why I know so much about all this stuff, I guess, because I used to work at Concepts. I was behind the scenes for 3 years. I ran pretty much everything you could think of.
Oh, wow.
But where Ronnie's really smart, where a lot of boutiques missed out, is all his collaborations, everything, whether it was with Captain Crunch or something else, he took a crazy amount of co-op from that parent brand to market Kith. So his marketing budget, where a lot of boutiques, like that's the last thing they spend on because they just don't have the money for it. Ronnie was probably getting, 6 figures, maybe 7 figures a year in marketing collateral from the brands that he works with. And he's just pushing Kith to a new audience, every time. So like there might be dudes on the sideline saying it's whack or whatever, but for him, he's introducing Kith to a new audience every single time, even if, Captain Crunch doesn't make necessarily the most sense to it, and just being honest, like the BMW collab, I thought was terrible. I talked to a lot of my friends that are BMW fans for a long time, where they thought it was wasted, but it doesn't matter because, it's accomplished, setting his brand apart from other people. So.
Yeah. And that's a huge audience, especially with developing a car. It's bringing it to a whole nother,
Excellent. And then you could tell that he was struggling with trying to make himself a brand and Kith a brand, because with the Bape collab that he had, he came out with Ronnie Feisters instead of Kithsters. Like everybody was looking at it like, what the hell is this? Like,
he had that identity crisis. But I remember reading an interview with where he said he wanted Kith to be like Ralph Lauren. It's not quite there, but it's getting pretty close.
Yeah.
And famously, when I was right out of college, that's when I started working at Concepts for social media, and I sat down and I presented a plan where I showed what Ronnie was doing with his clothing brand, because he had like a tech knit and he was like explaining how, how this is like cool and what it is. I was like, it's all bullshit, right? It's marketing, but it's done really, really well. And I was like, we should be doing this. And at the time, the designer of Concepts looked at me and was like, how many years has Concepts been around? At the time, about 20. He's like, how many years has Kith been around? I was like, 2 or 3. He's like, in 20 years, we'll still be here and Kith won't be anywhere.
And how many years? How many years?
So wrong. But yeah, that's what I was told,
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
But that's what happens when people like the old way works and they stuck on the old way. They don't want to try something new because like, hey, it's been working so far, so why try to fix it?
Right. Yeah, and it's unfortunate, and years later, they did get into their own clothing brand and everything, but it just wasn't. Ronnie had that jet fuel where he just was so far past. Like I wouldn't even really consider Kith a boutique anymore, So they're kind of playing different leagues.
They're almost at department store level at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if who knows what would have been announced this year if the pandemic hadn't happened, because I know they had some huge plans for expanding retail, but
Wow.
They still opened the Japan store today. I mean, this year, right? Tokyo,
yeah.
yeah.
So they did that in the pandemic. So imagine what they would have done if everything else was open.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably positioning to sell the brand. I mean, if you looked at what Supreme just got, if you look what Stone Island just got, I mean, that's what I would be trying to do if I was him.
That kind of goes back to him trying to separate the brands as far as pushing the Ronnie thing and maybe selling the Kith, but then he could still focus on his own personal.
Yeah,
and ultimately the Tokyo store is probably just like a distribution point at that point to save, because ultimately you'll save on taxes and a lot of other things by having that there.
Right, just to enter the market there too. That's always a big thing. If a brand, Japan for a while has been kind of like the tastemakers for, USA trends a little bit early. Obviously Japan's huge on vintage. I would argue that a lot of that cross-pollinated over here. And for something to catch on in Japan is usually really positive for the brands, especially if you're in an American brand trying to kind of prove yourself, I guess. So,
but back to that, Concepts is still pumping strong. They're expanding and doing.
They got purchased by Amazon and Zappos.
Whoa,
so they got acquired, and that's around the time. That's around the same time that I left. So I think they're doing great.
They just opened a new store in New York.
Yeah.
So I mean that's awesome. That was like an early example of what I thought some of the boutiques could get acquired by. Looking at like what Social Status is doing and how they have so many flagships, Sneaker Politics, and that kind of was like maybe something boutique owners heard through the grapevine where they're like, we need to get a lot of stores established because that might be an acquisition plan for us. Maybe a Foot Locker buys us and has us be our tier 0, activation door, but I still think they have a ton of influence. I just don't think necessarily it's been flexed to the amount that it could be to kind of push them into that next level. But SB being hot right now is great. So
with the success Foot Locker's had this year, it's more than possible to see it in the year coming. They're having one of their most profitable years in a long time.
Yep. I do a lot of the affiliate marketing on their back end, and they push some really good terms. So like I work with like the Soul Links, the Sneaker Steel, the Sneaker Shouts, like these accounts that push maybe like $50 million a year in product for these brands. And
Crazy.
Foot Locker pushed some like pretty good incentives. So with everything pushing online right now, I wouldn't be surprised if that's been really good for them, So
it's been profitable. That in social media.
Oh yeah, you work for Foot Locker.
Yeah,
right?
I work for Foot Locker.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was one of those things where it's like you put it in your bio and you're like just a fan of the brand.
Oh no.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Like the people that like put the website as like google.com. It's like, do they work for them or? So
I'm gonna put Tesla in my bio.
Oh man.
Chiquita banana. Yeah, I can't speak a lot, but yeah, I work for Foot Locker. So
That's awesome. So you guys heard it here first. Buy that stock. You know, it's going to the moon. Quarter 4 is going to be huge. No.
so back to your story.
Sure.
So now we're a YouTube star now. Is that where we're at? Sneakers are pumping in.
Maybe. My problem was I didn't. So I was around. I was conflicted because the way a lot of channels were getting big is they were reviewing replicas from China early. And I was offered a lot of money to do that, but I decided that it wasn't the right thing to do. And it really cost me because you can't, the shoes are so close and you can't really compete with someone that's putting out a Concord Jordan 11 on foot video in October and the shoes don't come out till December. And the crazy thing is a lot of people on YouTube are still reviewing fake shoes and getting fake shoes, you know. But I think the problem for me was morally I was conflicted with it, even though viewers didn't care. So that was the problem. And around that time, I started trying to pivot to think about, you know, I don't think YouTube's going to be how I'm going to make my money. I pivoted to doing sneaker events. I actually did a sneaker event at Gillette Stadium, which was really, really fulfilling for me in the sense that I kind of like got to take some risks, do my own business, and just see it pay off. And I started kind of prepping myself, thinking I was going to take a job at Nike or Adidas. So in doing that, I realized I couldn't do sneaker reviews anymore. So I made a website called kicksundercost.com, and I was going to just post, deals because I had worked a summer at Nike Town, Boston. And once I realized like a 40% discount on everything, I like could never pay full price again on shoes. So I kind of brought that attitude onto the page. And around the same time, because I saw Kicks Deals was posting stuff, J23 app was posting stuff, and I knew they had to be making money, but I didn't understand how. And Matt, the owner of J23 app, he gave me an affiliate code to post in a review I did of a free Flex 5.0 shoe. I forget exactly what it was. And I did the video, and I made like $200 in sales from it and on commission, which was like. And keep in mind, a good month on YouTube, I'm making like $2,000. Like that's a really good month. And here I am from one video from just doing the affiliate sales, $200. I was like, shit, I should have been doing this my whole time. So I called my buddy who was my friend Ivan, who still lives in Rhode Island. We see each other all the time. And he was doing Karmaloop, and Karmaloop had just gone bankrupt. They owed him maybe like $50,000. He was one of the biggest reps for Karmaloop, and he just pushed everything on Twitter. I was like, yo, dude, you got to get on affiliate marketing because this is exactly what you do anyway. And I think that, you know, the following you built could help with it. And that weekend was like the Jordan 1 SB Lance Mountains. And I like linked that. This is when early links was just getting started. I like linked an early link and I made like $4,000 in a weekend. Wow. I was like, holy shit, this is going to be good. Now, the problem is since that time, affiliate marketing has really changed. You get paid 0% on launch releases. You get 0% on sneakers. And Rakuten owns Ebates. So there's all kinds of ways that it's gotten really twisted where it's actually even harder to make money. But there was right up until the Columbia Jordan 11 release, which I think was that full calendar year, I made enough to pay off my student loans. I was like, I'm not going to take a job at Adidas or Nike. I'm just going to ride with this and keep adapting. So that was, once I started seeing the money come from that, I was like, I'm going to still make YouTube videos, but I'm not going to feel like I need to take money for a product review. I'm just going to do my own thing. So
right.
To take money for a product review, I'm just going to do my own thing. So,
right.
Yeah.
So do you think people like Solinks are still making that type of money? Like I know like they'll post like PlayStation's just restocked.
Yeah. So here's an example. I usually don't talk about people's money. I know how much they're making, but here's an example they publicly tweeted where I could tell you how much they made. So they made 1,800 sales on a PlayStation 5 they just posted, right? I think it was the $500 version. They made $9,000 at 1% off that one tweet, $9,000.
And this is not even on the initial. This is just telling his followers like, hey, this site has so-and-so.
On a 1% release, yeah. Yeah. So if I had to guess, same with Fat Kid Deals, and I know all those guys. They're all doing really well for themselves. I mean, look, they deserve it because they're. I mean, I have employees now, but I'm waking up every day, grinding, getting content to make sure it gets posted, and you have to do that pretty much 365. There's no days off. You're kind of tethered to your phone. And you just got to make sure you stay up on it. And I did that for 6 years, and now I'm able to kind of reap some of the benefits of it. And those guys been doing the same thing. So it's been cool to see it pay off for them.
Do you have a Discord?
I do have a Discord. Yeah.
Yeah, I added you on IG, and I just added the Discord too.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I started Discord after this pandemic because I had a little twofold. One, I really wanted to make content, but I did not like YouTube. It was not worth it. Two, I was really into teaching, and I've been doing some guest lecturing at Babson, but the pandemic ended all that. And then kind of on the third fold, a lot of people lost their jobs, and my business was doing better than ever. And I was finding myself thinking a lot about what I would be doing if I had lost my job and what I would be like reverting back to, right? Because once you know how to hustle and make money, it's kind of like a skill that doesn't leave. So I made a Discord called In This Economy and started kind of pushing out information to help other people that are out of work, hustle up cash. And I said, you can pay me $5 a month if you want. If you don't have $5, the Discord's free. If you guys do pay into it, I'm going to use the money to bring more services to the Discord, and that's it. And yeah, since then, now I'm at I think 750 members. It's a $20 membership. And then I kind of basically look at what groups charge $50 to $100 for. And I pull in their services into my group without changing the price.
Wow. So I pay for a group myself. I'm in AM Notify.
AM Notify, yeah.
And I've been in there over 2 years now, and that's $60 a month.
Yeah.
But I will say I've made that money back 100 times over just from the information that they provide. So that's pretty cool that you're doing it at a cheaper rate.
Yeah. And I don't put pressure on people. I think the other thing I realized in being in some Discord groups is there's a real toxic culture there where you just got people that are just trolling and everything. And I just wanted to kind of iron that out with the group I was putting forth. So I've been really, really happy with the community I built over there. And we're taking it into 2021. So
nice.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of reaping the benefits, I wore this hat just for you. So let's get into this.
I can't see it. Oh, a Rolex hat.
Let's talk about it, T.
What do you guys want to
about it?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Teach me the way.
Man.
Teach me the way to the Hulkbuster.
Man, well, see, I think I've been very fortunate in that for whatever reason, I have really good luck when it comes to timing. So I bought a Hulk as a graduate. Once I paid off my student loans, I bought myself a Rolex as kind of like I wish I hadn't done this. I wish I'd bought real estate, but I bought a Rolex for myself in Babson Green, a Hulk. Mm-hmm. And man, Rolexes are just such an interesting thing because they continue to raise an MSRP every single year. So you kind of get a little price bump every single time and they appreciate. But getting Rolexes, sport watches for retail are really relationship based. So you got to find your AD and kind of like kiss ass for a while or do some sort of a favor to get them because the ADs don't backdoor their stock. They do everything relationship based. So, they have a $9,000 Rolex that sells for $20,000 aftermarket. They still are sending that at MSRP because the watches have serial numbers and everything. It's way harder to backdoor than like a random pair of shoes. Right. So yeah, man. But if you can get one of those for retail, it's just a timeless brand where it's pretty much a safe place to put your money in. And at the time too, I downsized. I had like 100 sneakers, so I downsized and put my money into a watch, and I still have it and I still enjoy it. And it's kind of I like know what sneakers went into buying that watch. So
that's cool. Yeah, that is cool. And how many watches do you say you have now?
Only two. It's not true. Maybe. I have 2 Rolexes and a couple of vintage IWC watches. I actually consulted for, and I tell people this all the time too, because I'm not trying to like pretend. But But I consulted for Crown and Caliber, and they wanted to pay me. And I said, how about we work out an agreement where you guys send me a watch whenever I want and on loan, and I'll send it back to you. So yeah, I have like a $30,000 credit limit with them, basically, where they just send me, I sign something, they send me a watch, I get to wear it, enjoy it, and then send it back. Cause I have a short attention span with stuff, especially with sneakers, you kind of inherit that. Same with cars, man. So like I knew I was going to get myself into trouble with watches trying to mix it up. And this was like an awesome way to try a lot of brands and not have to worry about, shelling out the money every time. So
what's your favorite watch brand?
That's a good question. Probably Audemars. My first watch I bought was an Audemars Royal Oak. Right before I would say like Future and a couple other rappers really put Audemars on the map. Like I bought a Royal Oak for under MSRP, which is just not a thing right now. Everything goes over, but you definitely see that pop culture pop for some of the styles. But yeah, I love Audemars. I have big wrists, so something with a 42 millimeters is about what I need for it. So everything else kind of looks a little dainty.
Why you wearing your girl watch, man?
Yeah, I know, for real. Yeah.
And going back to sneakers, you said you had 100 pair. How many sneakers do you have in your collection now?
Probably about 40 or 40 or 45. So
do you have your Grail? Do you own your Grail?
No, I sold it because I had I had it for a long time. I bought the first 1.0 version of the Tom Sachs Mars Yards. I actually had 2 pairs at a time because when the 2.0s came out, the 1.0s dropped in value crazy. I picked up a dead stock pair for $1,000, and the first pair I bought, I paid $600. I think retail was $300 when it first released at the Armory, and they had extra pairs there too. No one really bought them, so I bought 2 pairs. I wore them. The problem is with the 1.0s is they really are fragile. Tom Sachs really designed them like art, not meant to be worn. And around the same time, all of a sudden the Tom Sachs 2.0s, I don't know what they're worth now, but they just went like up at crazy in value. And then the 1.0s did. So at the time I wanted to renovate my kitchen. So I sold both pairs. I sold the worn pair for like $4,500 and the dead stock for $6,000. And I was like, I'm just gonna, but it's hard. Like I've kind of like had to learn how to give up things that I like, you know what I mean? But, I wore that pair. I got to enjoy them. I made good content with it. So, that's enough for me. I also have a pair of Concepts Air Monarchs that never released. That's not really a Grail, but I would say that's like an obscure sneaker that I have in my collection that maybe would be a Grail.
What years were you with Concepts?
2014 to 2017.
Okay, so not that long ago.
Closer to 4 years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah. So yeah, that Air Monarch project was like, I don't know how that happened, but no pairs really survived. We got like a box got sent to the office and I grabbed one.
What do you think about the 3.0s coming out with was it the black on the toe?
The Tom Sachs ones? Yeah. I love that, man. I love Tom Sachs. He's an amazing thinker and artist and designer. So, but it's just one of those things where if I can't get it for retail, it's just really hard for me to pay resale for shoes.
That's what
I mean. Retail on that shoe is resale on a lot of other shoes.
Yeah.
What's retail? It's 400. It's high. I didn't even see it.
It's usually pretty. I mean, like you said, the 1.0 alone was 300.
$300.
Realistically, if that shoe was a GR release, we would see that being like a $90 shoe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Another question for the shoes. I was thinking about your Grail being the Tom Sachs. How much would you say you've paid for a shoe? Like, what's the most you've ever paid?
That's a good question. The most I ever paid for a shoe was probably a pair of Yeezy Red Octobers. I paid maybe $1,400 for a used pair, which in retrospect was a great price.
That is a great price. Yeah.
one of my friends at Nike Town Boston, he had hit on them. He was like the manager there, so I think he had like a heads up that they were dropping. He had worn them, and he hooked me up because I wanted.
All right, so it technical difficulty. Sorry about that. It happened.
Yes.
It happened. The J Balvin's dropped. A couple people here got him in hand. Sneak?
No, not yet.
No, okay, not yet. Trav,
Mine come today.
Oh, okay. On a Sunday?
Yeah, man. When you got a doorman, they treat you nice.
Oh. Wow, this guy's got money. I guess I'm the only one with them in hand.
Yeah, I wrote a letter to Santa, so I'm just waiting.
Oh, you just waiting?
Yeah, wait for that letter to get.
Before you show those, Jay. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Before you show those, I tell people every week enter these raffles because I took.
I was surprised with that.
I took an L on sneakers. I was actually in the office. I took an L and then I had to go into a meeting. I'm pissed off in the meeting. And I checked my email at like maybe 11, and then Exhibition out in Ohio sends me a raffle win.
Can we at least admit though that if you're a size 8.5 to 9.5, you can enter all the raffles you want. It's probably less than likely.
No, because I hit on the Off-White 4s.
What? But that was for
but that's for the Off-White store.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
you
have
like
stock.
Yeah, because you got to be a New York resident, so the window is way smaller.
Yeah, you're right.
I hit a 12.5, which is a unicorn size.
Yeah, because only you and John Arkansas.
But enter these raffles. They work.
Yeah. I was very surprised when he showed that he won a raffle from Exhibition for a 12.5 in J Balvin. I was very surprised.
And you only put in one email?
Only one.
Wow.
Tyler, how do you feel about raffles since you've been behind the scenes enough?
How do I feel about that?
Oh, Lord.
I feel like his face just told the whole story.
Tyler, tell Trav the truth, please.
I would say that if there's 100 pairs, maybe 10 pairs are going to your raffle. It just depends. I mean, look, I've been out of that world before. I've heard all kinds of things about how, StockX is a facility now where they're able to track inventory using the same Bluetooth monitoring stuff that Nike has because Nike gave them a system. Whether or not that's true, I have no idea. I know Nike would be probably pretty motivated to start kind of pulling people's accounts because at the end of the day, Nike wants to be a direct-to-consumer brand as much as possible. But, at the same token for raffles and stuff, some of these stores, they almost have to participate in aftermarket to make their invoices make sense. For every 100 people that line up for J Balvin, that fucking Janowski shoe that they had to take is not moving and no one's going to buy it. So, things have to get balanced out. And there definitely is a balance to it, right? Keeping the stores running and healthy and making sure local people get stuff. But raffles, man, I personally have not entered in a raffle in a minute. Only because the shops around me aren't really putting out stock like that. It's just like, man, it's almost like not worth my time. That's not to say that people can't win, but, raffles just gotten crazy. I think there was that whole period of time when Yeezys were popping where it was like everything was an Instagram raffle.
Yo, bro.
That was terrible.
That was the worst. That's really when I just stopped paying attention to it. I was like,
Yeah, it's to the point that I did, I have my own brand and I did an Instagram raffle for literally just a t-shirt. And even then I put like the steps on what it takes to run an Instagram raffle because even me personally, I'm like, these things are just bogus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. But that's kind of my claim to fame right now as a wash YouTuber is when someone has to tag 3 people, it's like a high chance like I get tagged in those all the time. They'll tag me and I see all the raffles, but it's just not to me it's kind of dumb. But
yeah.
So what do you think about this shoe, Tyler?
I love that shoe. Yeah,
Love it?
I do. I'm friends with Mike Upscale Vandal, and he was kind of mum's the word whether or not they're actually coming out. But when I saw those on Super Bowl, I was like, these are great. I don't have them in hand, but I like anytime that they kind of mix up the construction of the upper of the Jordan 1. I think it's just been a great thing, especially when they add like the textures to it there, and the colors. Man, that's just. I don't know. The color blocking of Jordan 1s and including collabs, I feel like we've seen every color blocking possible for J Balvin to do that. I thought was
what's your sentiment currently on the Jordan 1?
It's definitely been hoard out, but it doesn't really matter. Even now it's like, now even Jordan 1 mids are flipping. But I think
that's
part of that
crazy.
is the appetite, China's appetite for Jordan 1s is crazy. And that's been the same for a couple of years ago now. So that's kind of like the cash cow for Jordan Brand. So I'd keep pushing them out. I mean,
there's a very popular sneaker writer for years. I always forget his name, but he's writing for like Soul Collector for a very long time. And he wrote an article that was really good about how the Jordan 1 is this generation's Chuck Taylor. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's a good. I guess I'm too young to know what generations the Chuck Taylor is. Like, who's Chuck Taylor's? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, whose generation they look back at the Chuck Taylor's being iconic.
That was like the 80s, no?
Yeah, but it's more so the idea of that you can pretty much go anywhere, walk into a store, and find one of them on the wall.
Oh yeah, then I agree. I agree with that. I mean, I feel like everyone wants to have at least one Jordan 1 in their rotation, and if you look at how it's been, styled, people wear Jordan 1s for all the different kinds of events, weddings, red carpet. It's just almost seen as something that's like acceptable, and I think that trend even comes from. If you look at even some of the Jordan Brand, marketing events or collaborations or crossovers with high profile people, you'll have the guy in the suit with the Jordan 1, whatever guy from whatever company it is sitting in at the investor meeting is wearing that shoe. So it's kind of just,
I think Phil Jackson was the first though. No,
I don't know if he's the first. I know that's who I'm thinking of when I'm seeing them,
He used to wear them on the sidelines to support Mike.
But yeah, man, I think it's just one of those shoes that's just so iconic where I just don't see it going away in popularity anymore.
So being that you love like the way the construction is changed on certain collaborations, how do you feel about the Travis Scott Jordan 1? Because that's one that people are like mixed, like hit or miss.
In the sense that it has a backward swoosh.
Yeah.
I think the Travis Scott Jordan 1 having a backward swoosh and people feeling a type of way about it or feeling that it's groundbreaking is like pretty much summarizes like sneaker culture for younger people right now.
Yeah.
Like,
they did it. Look, oh no.
Because like also right now it seems like every single person. I even saw someone post the link to it, but like companies in China are now manufacturing Jordan 1s where you can like customize what the swoosh looks like.
Yeah.
And obviously we had the whole Warren Lotus thing. So at this time I'm just like, I think I even saw like a dick on a Jordan 1. Like,
yeah, you did. Yeah, you definitely did. That's real.
Like, it's just, so man, backward swoosh, like, woo, I don't know.
I'll take the backward swoosh over a dick. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, I like the mocha color of it, but then they released the mocha Jordan 1. And I honest to God would rather have that shoe than that. And I won the Jordan 1 low Travis Scott, and I sold that as quick as I got it in because I don't care about
But you didn't like the shoe at all, or you just
it just didn't to me it looks like a bootleg. That's what I was trying to get at with how much the swoosh has been changed around recently. It's kind of and then the other thing, and getting back to earlier, is like replica sneakers have kind of ruined the appeal of paying crazy prices for some of these shoes when the YouTubers or other people that have the shoe in hand early, it's a fake, but it's like, oh my God, I can barely tell the difference.
I say that all the time. Like when a shoe is heavily replicated, it makes the appeal of the real thing like not.
It's not. You're not like looked at as exclusive. Like, them shits are fake.
Right. When the shoe's so fake that when you see someone with it, you're like, oh, it's probably fake.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. So
like even going back to the Travis 1, the highs, those were heavily faked.
Yeah. And you had to like really know what you were looking at to discern the difference.
I jumped out the window and bought a pair on eBay for like $700, just thinking, this will go up in a year. And when it came, it was just so bad, so bad.
Yeah. I mean, some are obvious, but other ones, it's like, oof, man, like, and that's what gets scary. Where in addition to not wanting to pay resale. Unless I like know exactly where it came from, it's like, man, I don't even want to take the risk because I've been out of legit checking and reselling shoes now where I'd be lying if I said I knew how to tell the difference.
People are smelling it.
You gotta take out the
whether or
black
not
light.
the Jordan 1 sits on the table and rocks. But then, on the same token, I brought shoes into consignment where I literally had unboxed them from Nike when I had gotten them, right? And I had the owner of the shop saying, like, I don't know if they're real or not. You know what I mean? So, but that's really the problem, where there's what is it? Where it's same thing with now we're going to talk politics on this, but you know how like they cast so much doubt on something where then it's like, even if it is real, they're like, oh, I don't know, man. Cause you've just had so much, that's kind of how it is, how I feel about
they muddy the waters.
Yeah. It's so unclear that it's like, man, I don't know. I don't want to be bothered.
I mean, you would also think that these companies like would prioritize that, but ultimately being replicated is like the ultimate honor. And it's literally like what you were talking about earlier with marketing. It's free promotion.
Right.
Like you're seeing my product, even if it's not real, you're seeing my product on, 1,000 different Chinese websites or Korean websites, whatever it is, like being promoted to you in your face 24/7. So it's like,
yeah, I mean, in buying replicas, at a certain extent, it gives people something to aspire to. But I would also argue that some replica prices, even at wholesale, are close to what retail is, and then you got people selling replicas at full resale. So, and I think Nike actually hates it. But the problem is they're so concerned with margins that they do these contracts with the companies, and then in China they'll subcontract it out to another facility. So that everyone can make margins, and when you have that going on, it gets really hard to run checks and balances. So for people that are saying, these are gray market, that really is a thing, because essentially they're exactly the same as what's coming out. They just haven't been authorized in the product run, So that makes it even more murky. So
I actually just read a really interesting article. Do you remember the Revenge Storm sneakers?
Yeah.
What do you want to know about
Ian Connors?
Yeah. Did you know what happened with that sneaker ultimately?
Why he stopped production?
Yeah. Why we don't see them no more?
Because they got ran off as fakes and they got imported into LA, and then a couple boutiques started buying them all and selling them as real.
Yeah. So what happened is Ian, the team that was running Revenge Storm, lost the contract with the factory.
Yep.
But at that time, the factory still had the materials, the molds, everything. So ultimately, there was no way to tell them not to produce the shoe.
Oh,
So they were just making them and sending them out. So pretty much they're real. They're just unauthorized.
Yep.
So
I got an email in my inbox where I think I got offered 32,000 pairs at $40 a pop.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't touch that, dude. Because plus I hate that shoe sucks anyway. I don't think I can sell. I don't think there's 32,000 people that want that shoe right now that didn't.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and Tony were at Complex Con the year when they were big, and their installation had a crazy line, and these kids are paying $300 for this fucking knockoff van. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of Ian Connor on a personal level, but I think his shoes suck too. So,
so wait, so what if you were a fan of him? Would you still think his sneakers suck?
Yeah, I think they suck. I think anytime that granted, I'm wearing a logo with an upside down Rolex, but like, I think anytime that you take an existing silhouette or brand and then just kind of like do your own, it's like. Bootlegging is like cool, and it's cool like when like Ari did like the Newport thing where it's art, but bootlegging to make 10,000 units and just do a cash grab, it's like that's kind of dumb to me.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell it's a cash grab too.
Yeah.
Even all the way down to the box. The box wasn't even put together appropriately. Like, come on.
Yeah, I forget the dude that did it in partnership with him, but I forget what I sent, and him and I got a huge argument on Twitter, but. I think I just told him to go fuck himself and his brand sucks. But then that's when I started learning about, because when someone talks shit on the internet and you start Googling like who is this person? Mm-hmm. And that's when I started realizing that they were getting all their stuff run off and it was getting imported here. So,
okay,
man, what a nightmare for a brand owner though. That must suck.
Yeah.
I doubt he cares. He'll have something new.
He'll have another money grab somewhere.
Yeah,
Is he in jail?
ones with a dick on it coming
He
in.
was in jail. I think he's out already.
Oh,
Yeah.
Another sneaker that just released yesterday, the Jubilee Jordan 11s. Tyler, can we get your thoughts on this sneaker?
Man, what's Jubilee mean? Elation, joy?
No,
It's like a celebration.
Anniversary celebration.
Celebration? Yeah, I wasn't feeling any celebration. Any of that with that shoe. The Jordan
Me and Tyler got so much in common. It's hilarious.
Yeah, you're like
We-
Steve's best friend right now.
Yeah, word. We speak exactly the same.
This looks like when Soul Collector runs the story about the upcoming colorway of the Jordan, but they don't have the official color.
Yeah,
It looks like it's grayed out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But no, not for me. I mean, people love Jordan 11s, but this wasn't for me.
I was surprised they did so well.
Well, me and Tony were literally just talking about that yesterday, how the Jordan 11 market is really crazy right now. Like,
Bro.
a lot of models that came out just a year ago are double in price right now.
Well, but that's always been the shoe where if there was one shoe drop in a year, it was like you had to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did these come in the box with the? I don't have this pair, and I haven't bought a Jordan one, but I know when I brought the re-release of the Breads, they stopped having the
Plastic.
Slide out. Yeah.
Why did they stop doing that? That was like the
slide out box with the sleeve.
Yeah, that made you feel like the price point was the right way. Yeah.
Yeah. And they got rid of that. Man, that's
Well, they that's where they spend the most money when manufacturing too. So
right. And instead they were like, well, we're going to change the trim so it's more like the OG silhouette, and we're going to give you the OG experience.
Yeah.
That box. But man, that was the best feeling, was getting the Jordan 11s for retail, and then lifting up that thing like a
sleeve,
cup, and then seeing them in there and be like, oh, okay.
I think the best one for me was the Space Jam one.
Yeah.
The artwork. I think that was the one that made me say,
It even has Looney Tunes branding.
on it, right?
Yeah.
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 That was the one.
Yep. I got a pair of Jordan 11s here still in the collection. I got a couple of them, but yeah, man, I love those. Love them.
So nobody got Jubilees.
No, that shoe is super uncomfortable to me.
Yeah. I got a bunch for the people in the barbershop, but not for myself. Like, it's weird. Like, I went and got a haircut, and they know I'm into sneakers, so they're like, "Yo, Tony, I need these." I'm like, "Just go online. There's nothing to get." But they're like, "Yo, can you get it for me?" I'm like, "All right, fuck it." I bought it. I'm like, "Hey, it's gonna be $300." Oh, that's it. All right, got it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. It's just.
Tone was having Jordan 11s like turkeys.
Yeah, you get one.
The resellers I know were buying like cases at a time.
Yeah.
Like, I seen people with like, yo, I got 50 pairs, 40 pairs. Like,
it's a good hole too.
The street's gonna take it.
Right. Yeah. That's something interesting where I think a lot of young resellers don't get it.
No.
There's people that don't shop online for shoes. They don't have a credit card, but they'll come in and spend locally if you have it in hand. They want it that weekend or whatever it is.
Like
AKA PS5.
I was just about to say that. Like in my Discord, I see people saying, "Oh, I sold my PS5 for $800." I'm like, I could get $1,100 right now from a guy like down the block. So, and that just goes back to like not having these relationships and things like that.
Yeah, and they're just happy because they're able to get it. They don't feel like they're getting taxed at all.
Yeah.
But,
Another sneaker I want to talk about, and I want everybody. No, I'm not gonna say that. So, sneaker that dropped, the Stussy Air Force Ones. Can we get into this? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that sneaker?
Dude, I forgot that they dropped, but I remember. Let me just pull it up. Force One. When they dropped, the 11th.
Yeah, it was like Friday.
Yeah, see, this is why I forgot, because I wanted to buy these. I love the Fossil Pantone. That color I love. I love Fossil. It used to be. I don't know if they changed Light Bone to Fossil. To me, I think they look very similar, but Light Bone and Fossil are one of my favorite palettes for it. But I just looked at StockX. I'm not paying $565
So
for it.
the the thing that a lot of people don't know is that the Fossil is supposed to be Stussy only.
Yeah,
And
it
the
is.
black pair,
The only okay.
Yeah.
and the black pair is going to be
Everywhere.
seeded throughout boutiques and
Mhm.
Sneakers app and everything. But here's the thing: everybody was going crazy on Friday from New York to Los Angeles. They even shut the New York drop down because there were so many people outside.
Mm.
I saw in Los Angeles. Shout out to Young Corey. I saw that there was a civilized line in Los Angeles, as always, and it's just the Fossil, like we said, is something that is to go for. But this black pair, seeing everybody go for this black pair, it's like, yo, guys, do you guys really like this shoe? Or is it just because of the hype and because it's a collaboration and that's it?
Well, I think Stussy's been killing it lately, especially with their collabs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going crazy over a black Air Force One when I guarantee they're just buying it just to see if they could sell it.
Yeah, but
Is another
the
thing.
same could be said of like the Supreme Black Nasty. Like,
The black nasty.
like
Yeah, but you get to see it on the resale market when the price goes down. It's just like, okay, you guys really didn't like this shoe.
yeah.
Right.
You guys just bought it to sell it, and now I'm basically getting it for the retail that I was supposed to get it for in the first place.
Yeah, my thing is, if you've ever owned a pair of hemp shoes, you know the creases are like insane,
Crazy.
and there's no way to get it out either. Like once it creases, it's creased, like it's done. So
Yeah.
it's very hard to like want that shoe because you. All right, so what was retail?
130.
130. What's the flip is? Let's say 500. So you could take a $350 profit, or you can wear them twice, maybe. They're gonna crease like that, and that's it. Like that profit is gone. You're never getting that back with a crease in that sneaker.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still get a little bit. People take used sneakers all the time nowadays.
Yeah, but I think crease is a big factor in whether you're paying that for a used sneaker or not.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm glad to see that sneaker released. There's a lot of, so let's talk about the rumors. That isn't the last. Stussy will be having another collab in 2021. A lot more Air Force Ones are on the way. And next year, just a reminder for everybody to look forward to, is an Air Force One anniversary.
Oh,
okay. So Nike's probably transitioning the Dunk into the Air Force One. Is going to get all that energy.
Yeah, a lot of energy coming for
Next year. I thought
I
Air Force
actually
was-
saw a.
I thought Air
I
Force
don't know
was
if it's
82.
an SB. You saw the SB with the Air Force upper and a SB sole.
No.
Yeah, it's called. They're calling it the NBD, never done before, or NDB.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trav. If you look up Nike Dunk NDB, it should come up. It looks like it's a collaboration with someone. I don't know if it's an artist or a boutique. But but I thought the Air Force One was 82.
They've been giving boutiques a lot. Used to be you couldn't touch Nike sportswear with rare exception. Like Bodega got a Footscape, but really all the Nike sportswear stuff was limited to overseas. So it's been nice to see Nike kind of open up some of the sportswear models to boutiques because, you know, it's been a long time coming. Same with Jordan Brand, you know.
And there's one more shoe I want to cover that released, the Nike Dunk Ambush.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people were going a little haywire for that shoe. I'm not a big fan of that shoe. I'm not a fan at all.
Yeah, I wanted to get them for my wife, but
Yeah, me too.
I kind of slept on it. I thought like, oh, it'll be easy release
shit dope.
day, and it sold out.
Can you pull that one up, Trav?
Yeah,
Because we didn't cover it.
And resale is busting.
Yeah, actually, Resell is doing good on that shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, 488. The pink one's released or no? Is
No.
that
No, just black
Right.
for now.
Black.
Googling it? I like the pink ones better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Yoon. I've been an Ambush fan since like the beginning of the 2000s. But
With the power rings. I mean,
Fact,
Teriyaki
yeah.
Boys.
I had a power chain.
This looks
for
so
sure.
close to the Slam Jam Dunk, though. I mean, I
But
get that the
this shoe ain't it.
swoosh is more accentuated, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it kind of, now that you said that, it kind of does look like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just feel like the color blocking wasn't enough to move me personally, but
I know Tyler's not gonna like this, but what moved me the most is the swoosh.
Yeah. Well, they could have really turned it on its head and made it backwards. We'd really have something on our hands then.
We're really going for it. And then one more shoe. Let's switch over to Tony's favorite, Bape,
Yes,
with
sir.
the Weekend collab.
But
They finally got one.
yeah, but it didn't really do anything. I didn't see nobody
They didn't
post
do nothing.
Yeah.
This is the Weekend's second collaboration with Bape, right? They did one.
Might be his third, actually. I know he has a really close
Top
relationship with Kevin.
Yeah. And Kevin was able to show a couple people. Well, I think he showed everybody the Bape Reebok Classic.
I do.
No, it
I
wasn't
do like
Kevin. It was the Weekend.
Oh, well, I saw it through Kevin.
Okay, I think they sent it to the Weekend, and he
Oh,
posted
okay. Yeah, but I love the tongue on that. Pause. The tongue label?
Let's see it.
No.
No. It's a Reebok Classic. I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be.
So is it a Club C or
Let me see. I know the Weekend posted on his story.
Yeah.
is that it? 21 hours ago.
No, not those.
It's the 20 hours ago one. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
those
not
are
mad
clean.
at that at all.
That's clean. But you know what kind of remind me of? All those customs people make with the material on the Air Force Ones, or like they change the swoosh out.
Yeah.
These are good though.
Yeah.
This is what people want. What was Bape did a couple other. Bape did that collaboration with Reebok where I think it was a question mid that was almost all black. That sucked.
Yeah.
There's been a couple Bape Reebok collabs that have been like under retail duds.
Mm-hmm. But no, these are clean though.
Yeah.
This
And it's probably going to be a low price point, too.
maybe. I bet you it's probably closer to $200 to be honest.
Nah, I think
I say 150.
yeah.
We can-
I would say 120.
All right.
120, really?
Yeah, man, it's Reeboks, bro.
I bet you it's gonna be 180.
All right, we're gonna revisit this comment.
We're gonna shake on it.
But they're clean though. They're clean.
Yeah, I like this.
Tony, I only hear you.
Switching. Oh, I'm loving it how we're doing every brand today, not just Nike. Switching the Kid Cudi Adidas. Has anyone seen these?
No. Oh yeah, we did talk about them.
Yeah.
But didn't Kid Cudi, wasn't he supposed to have that asterisk sneaker? But then it was like he just kind of launched it and they never did the collab. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that. Kid Cudi had something with Adidas before?
Yeah, he was like, you know how Kylie Jenner was the poster child of the women's shoe.
I remember that.
Kid Cudi like introduced the Adidas asterisk shoe or ASTRK. But you're saying this is his.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. It doesn't move me, but I'm not mad
Back to
at
the
it.
future.
This is like when the Solar Yeezy dropped. Whatever kid was living in that. What year was that? 2011, 12.
Mm-hmm.
The first one, the 1.0s. This is like Chad Muska's and like whoever's still living in that age is like salivating on it.
Yeah.
And you know what else it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Jeremy Scott with the bone.
Jeremy Scott, with
Yeah.
huge accentuated 326.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like them, but I just think that what I really am trying to say is that the fit that this shoe goes with, I just don't know if people are wearing clothes to make this work today.
You're right.
But I love the futuristic stuff. In terms of like this looks like a space shoe, so a little partial to that.
When does it release? It has to be this year after showcasing all.
Is it released already or no?
December.
so.
Oh, this week, Thursday.
Oh, Thursday?
It's probably going to be a 0% commission release, I'm sure. Anytime I can make some money selling shoes online, they're like, yeah, 0%.
All right, hold up. Sneak's not here. Sneak, are you back? Oh, okay. I thought you were in here. All right. I'll cut that out. Tyler, let's get your thoughts on Yeezys.
Okay.
Are you still a fan? Have you ever been a fan?
Actually, one of his most popular videos on YouTube is
go for it.
Is Yeezy 350 Black, triple black, the original. He almost got like 720,000 views on that one.
Well, that was because I got real pairs early, and that was why I was able to do a lot of good videos, was going back to how people had the fake pairs early. I would get a pair early to review that I knew was legitimate. So that really helped me make the content where it became a thing. Yeah, look at some of these videos, man. The before you buy videos did so well. I wish I did more of those, but I also just it just got so tiresome on there, man. Yeezys, I loved the 750s, which they never brought back.
Yeah, chocolate was my favorite.
Not sure why. The only thing I can think of that they stopped the 750s was they must, because the zippers did break. There were some big issues with those, and either they couldn't fix it or maybe they lost the relationship with the factory. But I was always so surprised they never brought back 750s. But man, I don't know. The 350s is like the Roshi run of.
Yeah, it's like talking. It's like Sneak's twin over here.
Yeah,
like, did we just become best friends?
It's also the shoe that I'll get people that aren't into sneakers, and they'll say, "Can you get me this one?" And like they'll send me a picture of it, and I don't even like. It's not even on my radar that it released, or like I can't distinguish the palettes from each other. There's just been so many that have released, but that's going way back to the beginning of the discussion when we were talking about how the bot and aftermarket community is propping those up. I still think that's the case for the 350s because I know their production numbers on some of these and they're very high for what they are, I think.
So let me run my theory by Tyler, since we seem to see eye to eye on a lot of stuff. So I tell these guys all the time that, in my opinion, with the 350 specifically, Kanye, for lack of a better term, gentrified sneakers because it's become a sneaker that you see in circles that just were never into sneakers.
Meaning like, yeah, I agree with that, where it was, where it's like the guy that has the Gucci Ace sneaker has a pair of Yeezys, but he doesn't have any other sneaker in his collection. Maybe a Jordan 1. I agree with that.
Even then, you'll see it like, on Soccer Moms. Mm-hmm. You'll see it on like the I'm sorry to say it, but the Housewives. The Housewives of Beverly Hills, they'll have them on to get their hair done, get their nails done.
It's I'm white, so I can't really speak to it, but it's the shoe where like your white friend that's in the suburbs will hit you up about whether or not you can get it, just on the basis that they know you like sneakers, but it's always someone that you would never imagine in a million years asking for it. Mm-hmm. I totally agree with that, and I think in addition to that. Maybe even a better way of saying it is it's like the Yeezys, the shoe where all those like 12 and 15-year-old kids whose parents were like bankers or something else that had money that were getting into reselling. That was the shoe that was like coming into the house on mom and dad's credit card where they had maybe 12 or 15 pairs. And dad was like, "Yo, what are you doing with those?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm making money. Like, this is the thing. Like, StockX is cool. Like, let's put money into it." Like it was like the venture capitalist shoe where every single kid was so popular that it just kind of like went into all those households that never had sneakers, not on the basis that those people buying them enjoyed sneakers, on the basis that there was money to be made from them. And then that's kind of what piqued everyone's interest. And then made it be like, oh, this is a status symbol because, oh yeah, these are Yeezys. They're $220, but my kid sells them for, $32 after fees on StockX. He's an entrepreneur. It's like,
you said $232.
No, mom, these are investments, and then Adidas and Yeezy team are like, oh yeah, the breads, they did good. We're gonna put another 500,000 pairs out, and these kids sitting on them like their investments just like crumbling. But man, yeah, dude, I am not a fan of the 350. I don't own any pairs. I never bought a pair. I mean, the ones I'm reviewing, I brought back to the shop. So, but man, did I resell a lot of them? Yeah, that's for sure.
I think I don't know if it was on the episode, but last week I was showing the guys like in 2017 I was selling pairs at Flight Club for $2,000.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we'll never get back to that time, but what a time.
Oh yeah, I mean the craziest gotcha moment was when the triple black 750s came out, and I knew what the stock numbers were because I was fascinated with based on allocations, and if you had a tier 0, if you knew what one tier 0 door got, you could kind of start to think about how many pairs they got. And man, the triple blacks were allocated maybe like 10 times greater than the gray ones, but the resellers didn't know that. I think I sold the black ones like $18.50 a pair, which was like even almost like above what they were reselling, but it's because people had this impression that they'd be so scarce. And but getting back to the whole point where that was the shoe where now you had like really wealthy exchange students here in the country from China that were just buying everything and shipping it back home, to the point where now I'm pretty sure China's flag stuff, where now you have to ship stuff over with the boxes broken down because they flag it in a box with customs. But that's how much volume was coming from here over to China.
Yeah, I met a lot of people in my resale days of Yeezys that were shipping like a motherfucker over there.
Yeah.
Like I remember I met up with one guy in the bank. He came with his translator.
Jeez.
Oh, really?
To talk to me about the deal, and I was like, "He don't speak English? No, you talk to me."
Yeah, and then to be honest though, to Kanye's credit, the one thing I will say is that he definitely found an untapped market and tapped the shit out of it. Like
what's the untapped market?
That market, the market, like he was saying, the young venture capitalist, the soccer mom, the housewife, like.
Is that all credit due to him or the Kardashian family? So,
no, yeah, we always talk about that. How that's another take we have, Tyler, where the Yeezy is $350, especially, is just a Kardashian shoe. Like that's basically Kim K's shoe. She promotes it more than him. I mean, there's not much more to say than that. Like,
yeah, I mean, tapping. It was almost like the perfect storm of things too, because not only did the bump in resale culture where you're getting the news stories about it. You had StockX really taking off. You had, Kanye marrying Kim, and now that whole Kardashian clan is presenting those to a new audience of women, whoever it is. Where now it's to your earlier point, a status symbol having Yeezys. And I would even argue that that Kanye's Nike Yeezys, like some kids don't even know that are buying them. They don't even know about that or care. Now that's him.
Yeah. That's true.
We're getting to the age where the Nike Yeezy is so old that it's just becoming almost irrelevant, because they are becoming unwearable. Like a lot of people with Yeezy ones, they're crumbling now. So,
or I saw a picture the other day where a Red October strap like just came right off.
Yeah, that was, I think, getting back to selling rails, that was something I was very aware of, where these shoes, especially if you wear your shoes and don't just keep them in the box, like they have a lifespan where, you get to the point where you're like, oh man, because I had all the Yeezy ones, the Zens and everything, same with the Yeezy 2s, and that air bubble was just like, oh my God, counting down the days.
What number are you at with your collection?
You said
how many pairs?
Yeah.
I think I got like 40 or 50, I think.
Okay. That's
and I stopped getting seeded stuff so a long time ago. It's kind of ironic, right? Because you'll get Instagram influencers that get seeded a pair, and that same pair of shoes I might push, $400,000 worth on the affiliate side, but it's such an uphill battle getting product. It's just like crazy, But yeah, I'm sure if I was getting seeded stuff, I'd let it pile up, but. Yeah, I'm down to like maybe 40, 50, which is still like an obscene amount.
That's the number I'm trying to get down to. I'm at like a 150, 170 right now. And I definitely want to just get like a solid like 30, 40. And that's it.
Do you still wake up for those sneakers releases and try your luck, or?
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm on East Coast time, so it's not. I'm sure, and I think all you guys are on East Coast time. It was Sunday at 10 a.m. when you guys agreed to this. So I was like, okay, can't be on the West Coast. But yeah, I mean, I'll throw my hat in. I don't know. I got the Jordan 4s that just came out on the Hyper Strike release there.
That's a good pair.
4, whatever it's called. So I win occasionally, but I got the Kobe rings. I get the shoes where like you can make $20 on StockX. Like that's where my tier sneakers account is. That. And it's funny. I can talk about this now too because enough time's passed, and I'm sure you guys know as well. But the sneakers app is not random at all.
Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, you can talk about it a little more.
Yeah, but it's like there's certain things that can trigger whether or not you get a pair if they decide. And the more interesting thing that happens with sneakers is, you guys know about marketing pixels, right? Tracking, that sort of thing. Sneakers does not allow any third party marketing pixels on it, meaning for affiliate sales, anything like that. So all that data Nike really cares about, they care about it so much that I'm almost positive Nike owns the company that built out sneakers for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure they do. I know we looked it up a while ago, but the point being is that for Nike, that sneakers app, they just must have so much great data on their customers to the point where they can just set up all those conditions as to who gets what, but yeah, it's wild to me.
Yeah, I saw a post, like people talking about the Jubilees, and one person got the W, and he said, just when you're about to, give up on sneakers completely, you get the W, and you're like, fuck it, I'm in it for the next 10 releases.
Yeah.
So they probably track all that.
Well, it's funny because I had dinner with one of the guys, and he was telling me that for this period of time, they were weighting entries more heavily if you had shared the launch on social media. And the next day was the Travis Scott Jordan 1 launch, and I clicked share to Twitter and posted it, and I got it. Now, whether or not that's true, like whether or not that's an isolated example or random, but that's the kind of things that they can set in,
Yeah, well, I'll give some free game. Just as far like what you're piggybacking on what you're saying, it's all about the activity for them. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know, like maybe a month or two ago, they were doing that access for dunks that previously released. But if you had watched their dunk episodes that are coming out, it increased your chances of getting that exclusive access. So all that type of stuff is being tracked. So I always tell people, just get your human activity up on your account, scroll, like, post. It takes 5 minutes to do that, and you might increase your chances. So,
man, I didn't know that about the videos. I gotta watch it. But who knows? I'm about to hit every release from now to then.
If y'all don't see me next week, the Nike agents came to my house and took me.
Supreme?
What about it?
Let's talk about it.
All right.
Supreme on Thursday released the Mortal Kombat machine.
Yeah.
That you had to put together yourself.
Yeah.
Trav, did you think they was going to deliver an arcade machine to your crib?
I thought they was going to be all together.
No, I think it's in 2 pieces.
It's all in pieces. You got to put it together.
Well, it's arcade one up though. You seen those at Walmart? They're not really as big as you think. It just got the riser on it, so it's not like a 1,000-pound machine. Whatever.
Yeah, you could buy it at Best Buy has them too. They're like 4 feet tall, and you take them home and put it together.
Yeah. So, Tyler, what are your thoughts on Supreme? Is it still a thing? Will it lose its steam next year being bought?
I don't buy. I haven't bought anything from Supreme. I like the accessories still. I think they're cool at retail for sure. But the brand for me is kind of had a huge departure. Another thing where I think some of the products propped up by resellers. I wish I got that. There's things I'd love to have now that I'm a homeowner now or single family homeowner now. So it's like, there's some stuff I'd like to have in the house, but over retail, I wouldn't touch it. An interesting thing going back, and again, enough times passed where I can talk about it, is before Supreme got acquired the first time, obviously they do sales reporting and they do inventory. They had to get a lot of inventory off their balance sheet, and they actually started selling off boxes of stuff from their print where they were printing stuff, old stuff. And I probably spent maybe $50,000 on old Supreme pieces that were from the print shop. And I kept a couple because they're like samples and rare and everything else. But it was interesting to see that even Supreme was doing kind of that pump fake sellout where stuff that, and also this is going, I think Supreme just had a sale, but I remember back early 2011, 2010, that's the first time I went to New York and I went in Supreme and bought something. But they used to have the sales all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And then the product would inevitably disappear. Well, that all went somewhere, right? So that was some of the stuff that I was buying. And I just thought that the acquisition was good, good for the guys over there. But what I was arguing with some people on Twitter about is how they could see that happen and think that there's going to be the same distribution of Supreme, or they're not going to increase production. It's just like, it's nonsensical. Like, that's the only way that makes sense for them paying, $2.2 billion. So,
Well, I don't know if you remember, but before COVID, they had a roadmap of like stores that they were opening, and they had like a good, increase of maybe 3, 4, 5 stores in the US.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and they know what they're doing. Like that's what, getting in the key cities is. Look at Stone Island. You could kind of see Stone Island got bought, I think, by a Singapore venture capital group a while ago before they got sold again to Montclair or somewhere in Pacific Asia. But you could see them just opening flagship, where, because my friend managed the flagship out in LA, and like that store wasn't doing crazy volume, but it's just having it there that has the perceived value,
Yeah, a lot of these people pay rent just for the marketing, pretty much, of it.
Right, just to say they have a store there. But yeah, I mean, I would love to get some Supreme stuff, but a brand I haven't paid retail for or resale for, and it's just a lot of these things that I liked. Once, like, you had to get a bot and a setup and a proxy, I just was like, I don't have the bandwidth to do it.
The mental bandwidth.
Yeah, the mental bandwidth. I don't have the. Let me lower the desk here. It's just like, one more thing to do.
What are you? So as far as streetwear brands are concerned, what brands do you actually shop with?
Only Stone Island for the most part, but I stopped buying Stone Island after they got acquired the first time, and started doing a lot more production in Romania, a lot more production even in China now. But yeah, I probably have like 50 or 60 Stone Island pieces going back from like late 80s to maybe mid 2000s.
Nice.
I love that brand from Italian heritage, and just the fact that the textiles have such good stories and how it's done, and watching like the Garment House videos and their archives is just crazy to me. So that's good. And then my buddy Jacob Keller, who might be a good person for this as well. He's a big time. You guys would have a good podcast with him. He's great, but he owns a brand called Bare Knuckles that he started, and I love his brand as well. So that's like the only 2 brands in my closet right now, is that and Bare Knuckles. So. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny, right? How we realize it earlier with clothes than we do with sneakers. How you don't really need everything. You can just get a couple pieces.
Yeah, I mean, and that, like I said, I might got 50 or 60 pieces of Stone Island, but I wear the same stuff especially with COVID now. I wear the same couple of things every once in a while. So yeah, this is Bare Knuckles. Oh, there's Sean. Sean's great. He lives in New York as well. But Jacob's out in Oregon. But yeah, this brand's done tremendously well for them.
Didn't they just open a storefront in New York?
No, they did a pop-up in New York, and Jacob did a collaboration with Resell Athletic that was in New York next door to Stadium Goods. But they're based in Portland, Oregon, and they have a vintage store that they opened a door up there for.
Gotcha.
For that.
I think the pop-up in New York. Yeah. When was that?
Pre-COVID, so it had been
like last summer, maybe.
No, maybe last fall. I could pull it up 1 second.
Yeah, because I remember, Jay, didn't you post it? And you were like, "What is this?"
Yeah, that was the. It was cold outside.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I remember Jay posted it.
Yeah, because the Resell pop-up was there for a while. That was in October 25th, 2019 was the day.
Yeah, it was cold outside. Yep, I remember that. That was a good pop-up. A lot of our people were in there.
Yeah, he did really well with that collection. But yeah, he's a super humble guy. I think you guys would have a good chat with him if you guys want me to connect you. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, sure. All right. Every week we do a sneak of the week, a segment where we pick our favorite sneaker that we might purchase within the next week, or the year's almost over, so we have a little bit to pick from. But if there's any sneakers that you would purchase or you think that you do like, you would pick that one.
Well, for Tyler, since you're so limited now as far as like what your taste is, what's a sneaker? So better said, what's a sneaker of 2020 that you would want to get your hands on, but you just didn't, or
The J Balvin ones definitely, and I never reach out and ask people for stuff ever, but that was one where I was like really considering hitting up Mike about it because I just really loved it. And now I think I'm going to end up coughing up maybe $500 for a pair. So we'll see if once people get their pairs in, that number drops a little bit.
It will because it jumped up the day to release and then jumped right back down.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though, I would definitely purchase at 500 because I think I think that's probably the bench. If it did drop below that, it would be maybe 10 to 15%, but the increase is going to be easily like 100% from that.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to go way up. You know.
It's going to be on the same trajectory as the
numbers were really small for this year production.
Well, I would guess that too, just based on the construction of how they put it together. You know what I mean? That's not something that could have just gone on in an existing line. So, you know, hopefully I'll pick up a pair here. We'll see what happens, but
upscale. Get this man a pair.
My thought process was more so it's his first collab. So maybe Nike just wanted to test the waters, or Jordan Brand, better said, wanted to just test the waters and see like what kind of traction it would get before because after this release, I can't see this being his only collab.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he also taps a market that Jordan Brand, I think, would struggle to market to otherwise.
Yeah.
So, you know, and Jordan Brand's done a really good job with the women's brand. My buddy Dame, who used to be over at Villa, is working there with Jordan Brand's women. They've done an amazing job expanding the brand there. So I think the Balvin collab's going to kind of be along that same vein, you know, introducing the brand more globally. So,
yeah.
All right. Next, sneak of the week, Tone, Trav.
What's coming out? Can you pull up the calendar, Trav? Oh no.
I'm definitely.
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, not really, man.
We're not done. We're not done.
What was the Bape shoes coming out? I thought, Kid Cudi's coming out December 17th. That was coming out. I don't know if the Bape's going to be probably 2021, but that Bape Reebok would definitely be something I'd buy. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll go with the purple dunk finally coming out. The women's. I'll take that.
They're coming out on the sneakers app.
Yeah, they should be.
Okay.
A couple stores already got theirs, but they said there were no big sizes in stock. So,
yeah, me personally, I'm gonna hang it up for 2020.
You done?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
No 95? Oh, you already got 95.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like some of these, like those purple dunks, the 95.
Yeah.
Like some of these, I already have like the originals. And even then, like I'm trying to get the Tyler status. I just want like calm 30, 40 pairs and that's it. Call it a day.
Yeah. Trav?
Yeah, I don't see anything that's coming up that caught my eye unless we get a quick strike that I don't know about. I think I'm good. The Balvins were it for me.
I wish we could know what happened with the Bread 4 Off-White.
Say that one more time.
I wish we could find out what happened with the Bread 4, the Off-White.
I'm pretty sure it's next year now.
You say what, Jay?
I'm pretty sure it's next year.
Okay.
There was a picture of Geiger. And it looked like he had them on.
Yeah, he did.
He definitely did.
So that was a little hint for next year, probably.
Yeah.
Tone, did you pick?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Wow, my team is bowing out on me. I'm the only one spending frivolous dollars over here.
Yeah,
you're lost in the sauce.
You got a PlayStation and an Xbox, so
Wow.
I'm exquisite.
You guys got a budget? Can you let me into this or what? Yeah.
Oh man, Tyler, it was a pleasure having you on this podcast. Sorry for the technical difficulties. That's actually the first time. I know it's gonna sound like he says that all the time, but no, that was the first time for real.
No, thanks for having me, guys. This was awesome.
No, really. We need to do a part 2.
Yeah. You got a lot of gems that you could drop.
Yeah, if you guys want to talk stuff, just let me know, man. It's nice talking to some guys that are in a similar had similar experience. You know what I mean? Not just someone that's jumping on the culture because it's going to get views or something else. You know,
Yeah.
We've been here and outside for a long time.
Perspective. So,
actually, Sneak, can you tell your concept story to Tyler?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's why I asked, what years were you there? I actually camped out there for the Red Lobster and the Blue Lobster.
okay, I wasn't there back then.
Yeah. I was there. The Red Lobster, I was there, I want to say 5 full days. And
Oh,
the
wow.
blue,
That's how
and the
long
Blue
we've been
Lobster,
outside.
the Blue Lobster, 4 full days.
Man, yeah. See, I went to school in 2011, so my first camp out at Concepts was for the Levi's Nike SB. First time I camped out, I was first in line and got to the front, and they said they didn't have any of the black denim pairs that were limited, even though I was first in line. That was fun. But Six Fly, I camped out on. But I used to go there and spend money all the time. So eventually, I didn't have to wait in line as much. I got helped out, which was great. So, you know. But man, yes, camping for sneakers, I haven't done that in a minute. That's for sure.
Yeah, never again. Never.
never.
No one, I don't think anyone.
We're
really
done with
is
those
that.
days.
Yeah.
We're done with those days.
It's well, I'll leave that to the IKEA bag boys.
The guy gets back. All right. Thanks again, Tyler, for joining us and dropping these gems. If you could tell anybody where to find you on YouTube and Instagram.
Yeah, if you Google T Blake, it'll come up for most of the stuff. If you want to check out the Discord, all the links are on Twitter and everything else. I'm not like pushing content that much, but I would say I'm very accessible. So if you have a question, even if it's about something random, I can usually help out. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure you will get a lot of hits with the gems that you dropped on this episode, asking you some questions after this. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully no past employers, but I'm not even worried.
All right, y'all. Jay Yannick signing off. OG Bait.
Whiteman, thank you.
Grogu.
Trav, you nerds. Peace.
And Sneak.
Sneak bozos.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Boom.
Boom.
No.